Good evening, Philippines. Welcome to General Assignment, now on its 6th season. Tonight, let's talk about some controversial pieces of legislation. Back with us tonight is Congressman Jonathan de la Cruz of the ABAKADA Party list. I'm your host, Miguel Gil. Are today's lawmakers too busy with investigations in aid of re-election to the detriment of timely legislation? Let's find out. Good evening and welcome back to the show, Congressman Jonathan.
Oh, good evening, Miguel. Good evening to our listeners and to our viewers.
The last time you were with us, I think that was about a year ago, you hardly had a chance to speak, no? Because we had a full panel back then. Now we have the opportunity to talk about the nitty-gritty. Now, our topic tonight, Congressman, is controversial but timely pieces of legislation. Meaning to say, because there are reservations, there are concerns that a lot of our congressmen seem to be jumping upon every issue that makes the headlines, that they sort of forget, or that the time runs out for them to enact certain pieces of legislation that are really important as far as the survival concerns, the everyday practical concerns of the Filipino. One of them, and we will talk about later, are the antitrust laws. I think you are spearheading one of them. As a matter of fact, Speaker Belmonte was quoted as saying that mentioned your name, that you were trying to get one passed. No, but before that, let's talk about your party list, ABAKADA Party list, just so that the audience knows who you are and what you stand for. What is the ABAKADA Party list?
The ABAKADA Party list, essentially, Miguel, is a party list of education, for education. We are a party list advocating affordable, accessible, and quality education for all. And we are an organization composed of teachers, non-academic personnel, parents, students.
Parents, that's important.
Yeah, parents, students, out-of-school youth, and even workers in daycare centers, the preschool. And as you can see, ABAKADA basically starts from preschool in the family, and then even after graduation from tertiary education. We are also trying to reach out to our elderly citizens because we want them to be participants in these activities, especially in the case of alternative learning systems and the like training.
Okay, the past couple of weeks, Congressman, we've talked about the Mama Sampano issue, no? And the BBL, in that from the hundreds of texts we got and continue to get for some reason, it is a very divisive issue, which we will get, which we will touch upon later. But since you mentioned that you are a party list for education, let me just get your take on this issue that some apparently disgruntled teachers are trying to get a TRO on the implementation of the K-12, which is already being implemented by the DepEd, but apparently they want it stopped. And the reason is that it could compromise, if I understand them correctly, their careers, no? Because the implementation of the law may require that a realignment of the teachers. So what's ABAKADA Party list?
Well, in the case of K-12, that is already a law by itself.
Okay.
Now, what we are trying to do right now is trying to find out a way by which we can undertake it on a calibrated basis instead of doing it immediately nationwide. Because we understand what the teachers are saying, that there is a point, at some point, there will be some break in, especially since there will be no more immediately going to students coming out of our original high school. They will have to take up plus 2 more years. So there will be a break before they can go to college. Many of the teachers are concerned, especially those who are already in college education, they will be left without any students to teach. And so what we are trying to do is to find a way by which we will be able to, number one, calibrate the implementation of the K+12, meaning instead of doing it nationwide immediately, We can do it, piloting it in some areas and the like before we do it nationwide, because really there are a lot of problems, Miguel. We have the problem of classrooms. We have the problem of books and instructional
So it's
materials.
not really as smooth sailing as the DepEd people would
No,
suggest.
it is not. As a matter of fact, up to now, we are having problems with instructional materials, with the books that are being worked out for purposes of K+12. The way I understand it right now, the reason why we are under some kind of pressure to implement it is because we got a loan, $400 million loan for the implementation of the K+12. So under the loan that was just signed by Secretary Purisima and the ADB, we are under some kind of pressure to implement it immediately.
Right away. Okay, is it still an option to implement it in a graduated manner? Because my understanding is it's already ongoing. So can we do a 180-degree turnaround and say that let's just do it next year? Or
No, it is an option, because if you are not prepared, why should you rush it? Because we are not. There are a lot of sectors who are telling us that we are not prepared. We are not really prepared.
So you would prefer that they just graduate the grade 6 or grade 7 students?
In the meantime, and then we pilot it first in certain areas that may be possible, so that we will know what are the problems.
So do you support the TRO or?
The TRO is one measure by which the teachers' organizations, those who feel aggrieved that they will be left out, because up to now, there should have not been any TRO at all if they were advised what can be done regarding their situation, because that is really a big problem.
Is this not a case of the teachers putting their own careers or personal interests ahead of their pupils? Of course, you have one teacher and you have 30, 40, or 50 pupils. So whose interests?
Well, we have to balance. We have to balance those interests. And anyway, if we are not going to implement it immediately nationwide, there will be ways by which we will be able to catch up. I think that can be done.
So it's a matter of managing it.
Yes, it's a matter of managing this particular effort.
Okay. So let's go to the more sensitive topics. Okay. Siguro, Congressman, Tagalogin na natin ngayon dahil minsan nagte-text ang ating mga viewers na Tagalogin daw natin para
nagkakaintindihan.
Para mas nagkakaintindihan. Okay. Kanina meron isang kongresista na kumalas sa majority block, no? Ewan ko, kaibigan niyo si Congressman Walden Bello. At umaalis daw siya dun sa majority dahil sinasabi niya etong si Pangulong Noynoy Aquino walang tigil ang kanyang ginagawa upang i-cover up yung kanyang papel dito sa pagkamatay ng 44 SAF commandos, no? At sinisi na lahat, sinisi na yung kanyang si best friend na Puring Purisima. At ngayon, sinasabi, bolero daw o niloko din siya ni General Peña. So lahat may kasalanan, pero siya ang linis-linis, wala siyang responsibility. So mukhang somehow, no, ito si Congressman Bello, so majority black, no, although akbayan siya, medyo yung mga progressive black yata, kung they're called the progressive black, pero he wants to go his own way. What is funny is yung sagot ni Speaker Belmonte. Sabi naman ni Speaker Belmonte, we control 92 or 93% of the lower house. Ano ba naman isa o dalawa mo? Wala. So, wala pala talagang independence sa legislature kung mismo nanggaling na sa Speaker of the House. So, what's your take on that?
Well, unang-una, Miguel, no, nakakalungkot na ganyan na nangyari sapagkat si Congressman Bello ay isa sa mga masigasig nagtatrabahong congressman yan. At yan ay magaling na ekonomista si Congressman Bello. At yung kanyang mga panuntunan sa buhay, lalo na yung sinabi niya tungkol sa nangyayari nga dito sa Mama Sapano at saka yung tingin niya ipagko-cover up ni Pangulong Aquino, is a principled stand on his part, no? And it is a pity that he has to go this way, no? And not only is he getting out of the majority bloc, he is actually getting out of Congress.
Ganon?
Ganon na nangyari. Kanina kausap ko lang siya. Sabi niya, I'm resigning from Congress.
So, mawawalan kayo ng isang kongresista na may...
Mawawalan ng isang kongresista ang akbayan. Papalitan nila siya siguro. Kasi yung party itself can actually replace him.
So, ibig sabihin, para sa kanya, nakakasulasok yung
Parang tingin niya,
yung mamalagi pa siya doon among those people. Parang
hindi
gano'n.
naman, ang tingin niya ang partido, meaning yung akbayan, ay parang nag-iba na ang kanyang pagtaya pagdating sa kay Pangulong Aquino at siya ay nalulungkot na gano'n na nangyari sapagkat dati sinuportahan naman nila ng matindi si Pangulong Aquino pero sa kalaunan what happened is especially in the case of Mama Sapano, he felt that there was no longer any principled way by which he can stand with the president.
So, do you feel that it's a loss, a significant loss for Congress?
As far as I'm concerned, it is a loss. Any one member, whether you are with the majority or with the minority, especially since if you are a working member of the House, it is a loss. And it is unfortunate that the Speaker is telling us that anyway they control 90%, which is correct. They really control 92% of the House.
Pero hindi ba medyo mayabang naman yung sagot na yun? Although, kita naman natin medyo okay naman ang pagkatao ni Speaker, no?
Si Speaker mabait.
Mabait.
Parang ano yan eh, parang talagang gentleman of the old school.
Yes.
No? Ang ano lamang ay parang sa mga nangyayari ngayon, under pressure din siya. Marami rin siyang kailangan pag-aayos. Lalo na't siya ay vice chairman ng Liberal Party and he has to really uphold the party position.
The fact na sinasabi nila ang Malacanang mismo ang nagpatigil doon sa investigasyon dito sa SA 44 issue. So lahat kayo apektado dyan. Sabi ng Malacanang, naku, mukhang mapapasama kami dito, mabubuking yung aming mga kakulangan dito, tigil ng investigasyon.
Pero alam mo, Miguel, ganito ang nangyari. Unang-una, yung kahapon, kausap namin, we were with the members of the widows and the mother, some of the widows and mother of the SAP 44. There are 8 members, mga families, 8 families were represented. And we were with the speaker. And the sentiment that we got is that they really want this particular hearing to continue, to proceed. And I'd like to advise our viewers that as of today, about 100 members of Congress, we are already crossing party lines, have already petitioned the Speaker for us to continue with the hearings. And the Speaker said yesterday that he will address this issue once we have a copy of the BOI, Board of Inquiry.
But you feel he's really under pressure
He's
from you know who?
Definitely.